What's up, everyone? Today we're talking about an animal that looks like it was designed by a committee. You know, when everyone throws in their ideas and then they just wave their hand and say, screw it, that'll do. Meet the badger. Its very name is an international scandal. In some languages it means gray, in others striped, and in some, builder. This dude can't even decide on a job title for his business card. Is he an interior designer specializing in 50 Shades of Gray or a road worker? Let's be real, its body is a triumph of aerodynamics over common sense. It's a wedge shape that forgot it was supposed to be sharp. The head flows straight into the body. There is no neck. It's just gone. Apparently, at some evolutionary meeting, someone decided that necks are for wimps. It has short, massive paws that it uses to dig like it's searching for its lost ambitions. This gentleman weighs up to 24 kilograms, 53 lbs, and by winter, he gains that much again. This is the only animal that, when asked, "How are you prepping for winter?" honestly answers, "I eat." He just straight up doubles his weight. Imagine if we prepared for vacation like that. You come back to the office after the holidays, and you're not you anymore. You're two of you. And your boss is like, "Excellent, you'll work for two." It has coarse, bristly fur. I imagine it feels like an old shoe brush. But its face, that's its signature style. Two black stripes, like it hasn't slept for 3 days straight because it was finishing a quarterly report. Or maybe it just left an underground rock concert. By the way, those stripes aren't for beauty. They're an IFF system, identify friend or foe, for its underground labyrinths. Kind of like a pass to an elite nightclub, but instead of a bouncer, they just check if you have the right stripes. And now, for the main event. This creature isn't just some hole dweller. He is a goddamn architect and developer of luxury underground real estate. His home, called a set, isn't just a pit in the ground. It's a multi-level residential complex with ventilation, bedrooms, nurseries, and separate toilets. Yes, you heard that right. This little woodland shithead has designated pits for shitting. He is more civilized than some people on public transport. Some of these underground cities have been used by generations of badgers for several thousand years. Thousands. While our ancestors were drawing nonsense on cave walls, these guys were already building subterranean empires with well-planned infrastructure. They probably have 1,500-year mortgages and constant arguments with neighbors over parking spots at the main entrance. A single one of these cities can have up to 50 entrances and exits. It's not a home, it's a subway station during rush hour. And he's constantly cleaning. He throws out old bedding, airs out the rooms. This isn't an animal, it's every landlord's dream. Clean, quiet, pays rent in earthworms. So next time you see this stocky, striped bastard, know this. You're not just looking at an animal. You're looking at the owner of an ancient luxury real estate network who is judging your rented apartment with undisguised contempt. He's an underground tycoon who made it all himself with his own claws. So we've established that the badger is a real estate mogul and a stickler for hygiene. But what does this distinguished gentleman do when he's not managing his underground construction empire? The answer is simple. He eats. He eats everything. The badger is a walking all-you-can-eat buffet. His motto, if you can chew it, it's food. Rodents, frogs, lizards, bird eggs, insects, earthworms, mushrooms, berries, nuts, roots. He's like your uncle at a family barbecue who tries every single dish, including the ones that have been sitting in the sun for 3 hours. In a single night, this gourmet can devour up to 70 frogs or several hundred earthworms. That's not a hunt, that's a genocide. He just walks through the forest, systematically cleansing the area of anything edible. You can hear his snorting and the crunch of twigs from dozens of yards away. Zero stealth. He moves through the woods like a health inspector in a cafeteria, chomping loudly and letting everyone know, "I'm here to eat, and I'm not leaving until it's all gone." He doesn't have enemies, not because he's some badass fighter, but because everyone knows. Messing with someone who's constantly hungry and not in the mood is a terrible idea. He's not aggressive. He just prefers to be left alone. If you piss him off, he'll first bonk you with his nose like a sulking child, and then bite you and run away. It's the highest form of passive aggression. Like, "I warned you, now I'm stressed and I need to eat a bucket of beetles immediately." The badger is the only member of its family to hibernate. But even here, he does it his own way, It's not the deep hibernation of a bear. It's more like do not disturb mode. He can wake up during a thaw, go out, wander around the set, check if anything edible has magically appeared, and then go back to sleep. It's like us on a weekend. You wake up, walk to the fridge, realize nothing new is in there, and go back to bed. He loves comfort so much that before hibernating, he plugs all the entrances to his set with stoppers made of dirt and leaves to keep the draft out. This guy invented energy-saving tech long before humans did. And now for the provocative fact that will make you see the badger in a new light. This respectable landowner is an alcoholic. Yep. In the fall, he loves to feast on fermented fruits and berries. He gorges on overripe apples and grapes and gets absolutely hammered. There are documented cases of badgers, drunk off their asses, found sleeping by the side of the road. People thought the animal was hit by a car, but really the dude just had one too many at the office party and couldn't make it home. Picture it. A badger lying in a ditch, hugging a half-eaten apple and snoring softly. He wakes up the next morning with a killer headache, looks at his reflection in a puddle and thinks, never again. And of course, the very next night, it all happens again. So the badger isn't just an animal. He is the embodiment of all our little sins. He's a glutton, a homebody, a bit of a sociophobe, and he's not against letting loose with some fermented carbs every now and then. He lives the life many of us only dream of. Built a home, got his life in order, and now he just enjoys a life full of food and long, comfortable sleep. We already know the badger is a successful realtor and a hedonist. But what about his personal life? Family, relationships, all that stuff. Prepare to be surprised. This grumpy forest hermit is actually a model family man. Badgers are monogamous. They form lifelong pairs. These aren't some flighty birds changing partners every season. No, the badger approaches the choice of a life partner with the thoroughness of a structural engineer. He picks one female and stays with her till the end. They're probably paying off their 1,000-year mortgage on the set together. They pair up in the fall, but the mating part is complicated. It can happen in spring, summer, or even winter. And here's where it gets wild. Some real biological magic. The female's pregnancy can last from 271 days to 450 days. Over a year. How is that possible? With a trick called embryonic diapause. It's when the fertilized egg is like, you know what? Now's not a great time for development. I'm just going to hit pause on myself. And it just waits for the right moment for several months. It's like procrastinating on a huge project, but on a cellular level. Every woman in the world is probably jealous right now. Imagine, honey, I'm pregnant. But I'll give birth sometime next year, maybe. We'll see how it goes. The male takes no part in raising the offspring. His mission is to inseminate and ride off into the sunset. Or, well, into the next tunnel of his massive set. All the child-rearing falls on the female's shoulders. She gives birth to 1 to 6 blind, helpless cubs, covered in sparse white fur. The cubs are tiny little balls of fluff that just eat and sleep at first. The mother is a true hero. She feeds them, cleans them, teaches them how to dig, and even potty trains them in a specially designated chamber. It's like teaching your toddler to use the potty in a separate, fully renovated bathroom. Badger families are large and tight-knit. They live in clans that can include several adult individuals and their offspring. It's like a big Italian family, but underground. Everyone knows each other, they maintain their city home together, but each couple has their own apartment, a separate nesting chamber. They mark their territory to keep strangers out. It's their neighborhood, their rules. If a badger from another clan wanders onto their turf, he won't get a friendly welcome. It'll be more like, hey buddy, what tunnel you from? These are our worms. But the cutest part is their communication. They purr at each other, kind of like a cat. It's how females talk to their cubs and how males court the ladies. And when they're scared, they scream loudly. So this tough-looking beast is, at heart, a gentle, purring cinnamon roll who just wants to be left alone in his luxurious, underground penthouse with his beloved and their kids. So the badger shatters all stereotypes. He's no lone wolf. He's a devoted husband, a caring, albeit long-distance father, and a member of a large, cohesive community. He didn't just build a house, he built a dynasty. And looking at his lifestyle, you realize that true family values can be hidden very, very deep underground. We've painted the badger as the perfect neighbor, clean, domestic, family-oriented. But there's one problem: humans. Our coexistence is a classic drama about bad neighbors. And unfortunately, in this drama, the badger is often the victim. The main accusation leveled against him is that he's a carrier of diseases, specifically bovine tuberculosis. This is a serious problem for farmers. And how do civilized people solve this problem? That's right, they organize mass killings. In many countries, especially in parts of Europe, there's a practice called culling. It sounds so clean and sterile, like you're talking about tidying up a hospital. In reality, it's just hunting an animal that happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Imagine, you're living in your 1,000-year-old home, minding your own business, raising your kids, and then people show up with guns because some cow somewhere coughed. It's absurd. Scientists are still debating the effectiveness of these measures. Many studies show that mass culling doesn't solve the problem and sometimes even makes it worse, causing surviving badgers to scatter and spread the disease even further. But who cares about science when you can just go shooting? There's another method of control: gassing the sets. In the past, this was a common practice. Just pump poison into the home where an entire family is sleeping. It's not even war. It's some kind of quiet, dirty execution. It's now banned in most places, but the very fact that someone thought of this says a lot about our problem-solving skills. But even if a badger is perfectly healthy, life is still tough for him. We build roads, lots of roads, right through their homes and feeding grounds. To a badger, a highway is like the Great Wall of China, impossible to cross. Tens of thousands of badgers die under the wheels of cars every year. They just come out at night to go about their business, as their ancestors did for centuries, and enter a world of high speeds and blinding headlights. In some countries, they're trying to build special underground crossings for animals, these ecoducts. But it's a drop in the ocean. It's like building one crosswalk in a city the size of a continent and saying, "See, we took care of you." Sometimes the badger comes to us. He might dig a set under a shed, in a garden, or even under a house's foundation, and that's when the panic starts. He'll destroy my house, he'll eat my crops, he'll kidnap my children. When in reality, he's just looking for a safe place to live because his own home, the forest, is getting smaller and smaller. He's not a villain. He's a refugee, an ecological migrant that we ourselves forced to seek asylum on our territory. And here's the provocative fact that is, in essence, a tragedy. The badger is the perfect indicator of our attitude towards nature. We admire his intelligence, his cleanliness, his complex social structure. We write books and make movies about him. And then we go and kill him because he's bad for business. We're willing to protect cute animals, but the moment money or the slightest inconvenience is involved, all our love for nature evaporates. The badger is an inconvenient truth. He reminds us that the world isn't divided into our territory and the wild. We all live in one big house, and instead of being good neighbors, we act like the worst kind of landlords, the ones who evict tenants with a bulldozer. So we've dissected the badger completely. We've learned he's a brilliant architect, a gluttonous alcoholic, a faithful family man, and a victim of human stupidity. But there's one more aspect of his life we have to talk about: his cultural footprint. This stocky excavator has managed to dig a tunnel straight into our consciousness. In culture, the badger is a character with a reputation. He's usually portrayed as a wise, slightly grumpy, but fair old man. He's like that retired neighbor who's seen it all and now just wants the kids to quiet down under his window. He's not the main hero. He's the kingmaker, the power behind the throne. The one you go to for advice when everything is going to shit. He won't fight on the front lines, but he sure as hell knows where to dig a bypass tunnel. Think of any children's book with a badger. He always represents home, reliability, ancestral wisdom, because he literally lives in his ancestors' home. He is the archetype of stability. While other characters are running around the forest solving their problems, the badger is sitting in his cozy set, drinking herbal tea and thinking, what a chaotic mess. But he's not always so positive. Sometimes he's portrayed as a stubborn, reclusive, middle-class homeowner who only cares about his own well-being. That's also true. He really does put his home and family first, and you can't blame him. When you have real estate like that, you inevitably become a conservative. And you know where the badger has left his most unexpected and luxurious mark? In the bathrooms of rich gentlemen. His fur is considered the best material for shaving brushes. Yes, that coarse bristle that looks like wire is perfect for retaining water and creating a rich lather. Can you imagine the paradox? A brutal forest digger, who probably shaves once in his life, has become a symbol of luxury wet shaving. Somewhere in a forest, a badger is sitting there, with no idea that his distant cousin from China is currently helping some banker in a metropolis get ready for the day. And now for the final, most absurd fact. In one North American state, the badger is the official state animal. But not because everyone there loves badgers. It's in honor of the first miners, who, like badgers, lived in dugouts and burrowed into the earth. That's right. People name themselves after the animal because they led the same lifestyle. That is the ultimate level of recognition. It's like if office workers made the meerkat their symbol, because they also spend all day sitting upright and looking around nervously. He even left his mark on language. In many cultures, there's the expression, to sleep like a badger, meaning to sleep very soundly, or fat as a badger, which is, frankly, a compliment to his ability to prepare well for winter. This animal has become so ingrained in our lives that we don't even notice how often we refer to him. So the badger isn't just an animal. He's a cultural phenomenon. He is simultaneously a symbol of wisdom and stubbornness, of home and isolation, of wild nature and a luxury shaving accessory. He is living proof that even the most overlooked, grumpy, and secretive character can leave a massive, deep, and highly branched mark on history, just like his set. Thank you.